So we have just 3 days to go until we get the war table for Marvel's Avengers. That'll be the one that will showcase the upcoming Future Imperfect campaign featuring Clint, Maestro, and unfortunately more aimbots. But hey, we're going to get Clint and Maestro, so that's good enough for me. Now, on the back of that, we're getting a lot more information come out in the game. So I've collated all the recent information we've got into one video here. So what we're going to run over, just so you know, we'll start off. We've got a little bit more information on the Future Imperfect campaign. We'll start off with that. We've then got an update in regards to the challenge rating issue at the moment. You can only play challenge rating 2 in game. The developers have given us more info on that. We've got some details on the last patch and known issues that they are looking into fixing, and then finally we've got some information on the next gen release, which may be coming sooner rather than later. Now, before we do jump in and check all that out, if you're enjoying the content, take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button. And also, if you want to actually support the channel outside of that, I've set up a second channel called BlueStacks Gaming. I'm a BlueStacks affiliate. BlueStacks, if you're not sure what it is, allows you to play your mobile games on PC. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the link to that and you can download and play some mobile games and help support the channel as well. But let's jump in and we'll talk about the more info we have on the Future Imperfect campaign first. So this here comes from an email that was actually teasing the upcoming war table, so I'll go through it because there is some new information and it's actually got me a bit confused as to what's going to happen with Clint and his campaign. So after the A-Day disaster, Clint Barton and his mentee Kate Bishop were left on their own, deciding to search for the missing Nick Fury. We know Nick Fury was with Scientist Supreme working on the potential upcoming Kree threat, but searching for Nick Fury and in doing so stumbled upon AIM's secret Tachyon project, resulting in Clint's capture. Though Kate brought him back to the Avengers, that would be the Kate DLC, peril doesn't leave him. He falls into a coma. We've seen that happen in game, but this is the interesting part here. It says witnessing a future vision that leaves him confused and defeated when he finally wakes. So that sounds like potentially part of the upcoming Future Imperfect DLC. Maybe Clint still in the coma, but actually having some kind of vision of the future. We know he was in the future, so is he just dreaming about what's happened or what? Really pretty confusing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But to follow on and just finish up here, it says, armed with his bow, sword and knowledge of the grim events to come, it's up to Hawkeye to stop the end of the world. So yeah, once again, I think the DLC might actually jump from the future section to it, and then he wakes up and then we'll see what happens from there. It'll hopefully lead into some kind of tease to do with Wakanda and Black Panther. That'd be really pretty awesome if that's the case. We then have an update on Twitter in regards to the challenge rating in the game being locked at challenge rating 2. Now when I talk about the different challenge ratings, I'll just call them like C1 or C4 just to save a bit of time here, but a little bit of information just so you can put it in context if you're not quite sure how it works. So you've got your challenge ratings that go from C1 all the way up to C4. Now when the game first came out, there was a big difference in difficulty when you were actually playing these, but around about 2 months ago or so, maybe around about the Kate patch, maybe a little bit before that actually, it changed it so the vast majority of content in the game, once you reached around about level 140 for your gear, it would actually cap at 150, and that doesn't matter if you were doing challenge difficulty 1 or doing challenge difficulty 4, it would still be capped at 150. So the enemies were exactly the same and the loot that dropped was exactly the same as well. One small difference, the slight difference was that in chests you got slightly more currency. When you get units and so on from chests, you would get slightly more if you actually done it on C4 as opposed to C1. So it was something that really wasn't impacting the game at all in regards to gameplay, but what it was doing, this is the big issue the game has at the moment, is matchmaking. It can be really hard to go in and matchmake unless you choose the quick match option, because what happens is, firstly you've got to match up with a player that's chosen the same level as you. Secondly, on top of that then you had the other variable where you had to choose the same difficulty as them as well. So personally I think it makes sense that they have removed this. This is the context in regards to it, so let me get into the actual tweet then and what they are saying. So it says the team is evaluating ways to improve the challenge rating system in future updates. During this investigation, issues have been fixed, which included locking higher challenge ratings that would take a mission beyond its intended cap. So once again, just to confirm, previously you could do your challenge rating C1 to C4, but the difficulty was exactly the same on all of them, but it was actually just split on the player base when it came to picking multiplayer matches and matchmaking. So that'll be why they've locked it at the moment. They do mention that they are looking to actually improve it, so I'm hoping in future, maybe for the mega level threats for example, they'll be ones that open all the way up to the C4 difficulty, where they'll be a lot more difficult, and as a result of that we will get better loot as well. And an additional tweet here which I'll read as well, it just says to ensure players are able to complete achievements related to the challenge rating, we will disable the lock in a future patch until further improvements are ready. So they have made a bit of a mess how they've implemented this, as much as I can understand why it's been implemented, and I think potentially in the long term it could be a good idea. But you have the problem that certain dailies and achievements are tied behind doing challenge rating 3 and 4. I think it's maybe even 3, I'm not quite sure any ask you to do 4, but they're going to unlock it at a later date so you can actually do that. But let me know what you think about all this. Would you be happy for regular content to maybe be locked at 150 and specifically a mega level threats to be the ones that go higher? But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of this. We then have an update to the patch notes that I'll cover very quickly before we get into the information on the next gen patch, but this is telling us that they are aware about the shield daily villain sectors. They are erroneously shown as completed. That's been happening for quite some time, and I really would expect us to get compensation for this like we got before. We really do deserve it with how long the issue's been happening. It mentions about Iron Man's regular missile attacks. They do not trigger positive negative status effect bonuses. That also applies to some gear pieces where it's not actually triggering some of your effects, such as your damage boost and so on, but as far as I'm aware, developers are aware of that as well, as much as it's not mentioned here. You've got the fact that AI companions have difficulty hacking doors when you actually use the ping system. I believe you have to just be standing right next to it and use it as a short-term fix, but they're aware of it, so fingers crossed for the next patch it will be fixed. You can use it from further away. You've got the More Than Human missions not shown up for those who previously were missing it, and the cape of the Iron Man or the Iron Knight outfit is not present on the main menu or during Quinjet sequences. All these visual bugs in regards to costumes are really weird to keep coming up, like the Hulk hair not shown and stuff like that. It really is bizarre. I don't know what programming's caused that to happen. But the Iron Man costume, just very quickly before we move on to the next gen section, I put up a poll on YouTube recently in regards to it because I'm still undecided whether or not I like it, so check out that poll and do let me know. But that's some updates there, and the reason it's relevant is that if they know about it, then fingers crossed it won't be too long until it actually does get fixed. But let's jump on to the next gen information we have now. So we do know the next gen patch should be coming pretty soon, because we're actually going to get a preview of it in just 3 days, so that's pretty awesome. I played the PC version of the game. It looks absolutely incredible. If the next gen version looks anything like that, which it should, then you are in for an absolute treat. The reason we know it's coming soon is not only due to the war table, but also you have websites that track achievements on PlayStation and so on. And there was a particular website that actually brought up the achievements for the PlayStation 5 version of Avengers. Generally, I believe from looking at the history of this website, they come up, sometimes it can be a few days before a patch, sometimes up to about a month at the absolute latest. On top of that, we've actually got some information about what the next gen patch will actually include as well. This here comes from a blog quite some time ago, but it is interesting to read what they were saying about this patch. They're saying the new GPU, and specifically PlayStation 5, allows us to increase our texture resolution, push a higher level of detail further for the players, enhance our ambient occlusion, improve our anisotropic filtering, and add a variety of new graphical features such as stochastic screen space reflections, I'm not quite sure what that is, with content aware sharpening. There's a lot of big words there. Basically it means it will look a lot shinier. Also mentions the fact that you have the option to have either a frame rate or enhanced visuals mode, and I've actually seen that when they've talked about the enhanced visual modes, it will still target your 4K dynamics. So what that actually means, in 60 frames as well I should say, but what that actually means is it'll try and run at 60 frames and 4K. If it can't do it at any point, it will slightly downgrade the 4K graphics, so they won't be true 4K. That's how I believe it actually works. Any technical people, let me know in the comments below if that is correct, but that's how I believe that actually works there, but it will still try and target the 60 frames. So just to finish up here, we've got some screenshots. Once again, they're on the older side, but you may have missed them. These are from the PS5 version. A lot of times when you see these promo shots, they can be called bull shots, because they don't actually look how the game looks when it does come out. But again, I've played it on PC and it looks absolutely incredible, so if it does look anything like that, it will be good. But I will mention, we still need meaningful loot. Yes, the game might look shiny, but I want some shiny loot to actually farm. Now, let me know what you think about all this we've covered in the video today, and thanks for tuning in, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.